Hello and welcome to this session. Now, what I'm going to do in this session is show you how I've updated and replaced the files that I reference in this video. So in this video, using PowerAutomate to sync planner data with Power BI, I'm going to assume that you're already familiar with the flow and what I'm doing within this particular video. If you're not, please go and watch it now. And I expect that you've come to this particular YouTube channel because you want to understand how we can do this. Okay, so I've had lots of comments, and there have been lots of comments and lots of downloads regarding the files, and all the files of course are on GitHub. They're here, Planner BI with PowerAutomate, and you can download the flow solution from here. So back to the original file, what did it do? Well, if we go and have a look in flow, this is the original file. What it does effectively is it takes planner files, and it takes the attributes of each planner file, and each planner has a set of tasks, it has a set of buckets, it has some plans, or rather the plans are there. We have assignments, as in tasks are assigned to users. We therefore have users, and we also have checklist items, the very last item here. So there are 6 branches to this flow, and the flow runs through effectively, and for each plan gets this data. Now, the flow, as you know, stores data in an Excel sheet. So the first 2 portions of each branch of the flow goes to that Excel sheet, lists the items in the Excel sheet, and then deletes them. And this is where we've had some issues. Let's just remind ourselves about what those Excel sheets look like. So they're stored in SharePoint. For me, on this demo, they're stored in this SharePoint site called APO group. So if we click into there, and then we can select documents, and in the documents, then we've got that Excel file again, which is referenced as part of this solution. That's the file here, plannertasks.xlsx in GitHub. That's the file that you go and put in your SharePoint folder. So let's get this to refresh and see if we can see that SharePoint folder. So here's the one. I've got a few copies of this. It's a demo system, of course, but this is the one which you can see was updated yesterday. So if we open up the Planner Tasks Excel sheet, then we can have a quick look at that and just remind ourselves as to what's happening in there. So at the bottom, you can see we've effectively got 6 sheets, one for each of those, that set of data that the flow gets, and this is where the flow writes the data into. So each of these is a table. So on the tasks sheet, I've got a tasks table. You can see the table name because by clicking in table design, it's called task table. The other tables are of course mentioned in a similar way. So what the flow does is it goes and lists the rows in the table and then deletes each row, and it does that for each table for those 6 entities. And this is where sometimes the flow is either slow or it has a bit of a problem. So what could we do about that? Let's just clear out of there. Well, one of the people posted on YouTube and said, hey Ben, why don't you automate just removing everything from the table? So kind of that's what we did. So let me show you what we've now got. Do you remember we've got in our existing, or in the old flow if you like, we've got list rows in the task table and then delete each row. And then we list items and apply to each team. So that's okay. If I go back into my flows, what I've done, the new flow, I've updated the new flow. It's this one here. So we'll just edit that. Okay. So now that's opened, what you can see is I've got rid of those first 2 rows of list all the tasks in the table and then delete each row. And I've replaced that with a script. Okay, so I'll go and add in the script again, just so you can see what we're doing. So I'm going to insert a new step. So I'm going to add in an action here. Okay, and then I'm going to search for script. Okay, and we're going to run an Excel script effectively. So it's an Excel script here. So that's the action that this is the same action as this one, remove existing task row. So I'm just showing you how you can modify your existing flow, or how you would set up or how you would, if you download the new flow from the GitHub here, then this is how you're going to configure that new flow. So the script, we need to choose the location of the script. So we'll come on to what scripts are very shortly, but the script, of course, is wherever I've stored this Excel file. So this is under, or rather the location is the SharePoint site that I've stored this. So this is the location APO group. The document library is just, of course, the documents folder, because that's the only one I've got. And then the file that we've got is, we saw it before, planner tasks. And then within planner tasks, it says, I've already created the scripts for you. Okay, so it says, which script do you want to run? So this is the task rows, and therefore I want to remove the task, or I want to run the remove tasks script. Okay, that's how you set this up. And you can see that in the new in the new line up here, the new action, then that's exactly how I've set this up. So so in this case, actually, we can come in and I can remove this. There's no point removing this twice. Okay, so I'll delete that step. Okay, so I'm left with, for each of my 6 branches, the first thing that branch does is it runs the relevant script for that branch. So what is the script? Well, let's just go back to the planner Excel file here. Now, if you're not familiar with scripts, then scripts are available under Automate. And the script is, you know, think of it as VBA, as what VBA used to do. Okay, so here you can see I've got record actions, I've got new script, I've got the current Office scripts, I've got this button to click all scripts, and I can automate a task. So I've written these scripts for you. So let's go and have a look at them. So here are the scripts. They're going to come up in the code editor here. So let's just go and have a look at this script called remove tasks, because that's the one, if you remember, that was associated with the tasks branch in the Power BI, sorry, within Power Automate. So we don't need to worry too much about the script, but it has a name. We then assign to this variable, which I've called delete table, the workbook get table, and this is the important bit. It's called task table. So that's the table that this is called. We then delete all the rows at index 0 from a task table. So let the number of rows equals the variable delete table dot get count row. Okay, and then if the number of rows is greater than 0, then we call this function delete table dot delete rows from 0 to number of rows. So let's just see that running now. Now remember, what happens, of course, is our flow actually calls that in remove existing tasks rows. This is what the flow does. It goes and runs this script remove tasks. So let's go and run that manually. Okay, so I'm just going to click here on run. Okay, so the script is running, and you can see straight away it just deletes all the rows in that table. And that actually doesn't take too long. We can do a very similar thing for the assignments. Let's just see if we've got some assignments. We have. Let's go and have a look at all of the scripts, and then we'll just quickly have a look at that assignment script where we remove that. Let's just edit that. Okay, you can see it's very, very, very similar. Of course it is. The only thing that we change in there is the name here of assignments table. Okay, so let's just run that one. Okay, and that took a little further or a little longer to run, but again, it removes all the assignments. So that's what happens with the Automate and those scripts. So we can close this off now. So back in Power Automate, all you need to do is set up each of these additional actions to find the right file and then run the right script. The remaining items in here, where we now go through each plan and list tasks for each plan and apply to each task, that needs to be set up in exactly the same way as we set that up in the first video, which you'll be aware of. So for each adding row into the table, we choose the location. Again, it's the same SharePoint folder. It's the same file, it's the same table, and we just match up again those values. So that's all exactly the same. So once you've done this, of course, and set this up and checked that everything is correct, you can save it, and then you can just check that your flow is going to run. So let's do that. We'll save that, and then we should be able to come and run that flow once that's saved. Everything's going rather slow today. Okay, so let's just test that. That's saved correctly. Okay, I'm at the point now where I can just click on Run the Flow. Let's go to the Run the Flows page. On this page here, I've got the checklists table open. So let's just see how quickly this flow begins to run. Sometimes the checklists disappear before the actual data comes up on the flow page here. And you can see it has. So those checklists have disappeared very quickly. Okay, you can see that removing the checklist rows actually only took us 20 seconds. Listing the teams took 0 seconds, and currently we're just running through and rebuilding this checklist table. So there you have it. That's how the new flow works. It uses Office scripts to delete data out of those tables. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have success with getting data out of Planner using PowerAutomate into some sort of database. In this case, I've used Excel. It's not really a database, but it is what it is. You could also put this into Microsoft Lists. I've seen people do that, but this seems to be a useful way to quickly stabilize the flow, if you like, and quickly remove the items in the table. And then, of course, you can connect up to this Excel file using the Power BI template file that you've already downloaded. All right, thanks very much. Please do subscribe to the channel, and I shall post some more stuff soon. Thank you.